Hello, y'all. This is Darrell Lee Berry Jr. back with part three of reviewing the debate with Ross and PhD Tony. Been interesting so far. Of course, Tony presented some direct, logical, evidence-based, observation-based uh, uh, presentation and I guess responses, and of course, Ross didn't. So what I'll do is continue from where we left off at about 42 minutes. I guess I'll go for about 30 minutes, just about, and we'll see what we get during that period of time. So we'll take it away.
Okay. So my question to you is, why are you in this debate and not a physicist? Why, if you claim, let me finish my question. If you claim that what I'm saying violates the laws of physics,
yes,
why do physicists agree with me and not with you?
Which physicists?
Every one of them.
Well, I pulled up some actual quotes from some actual physicists. Do you have quotes from actual physicists disagreeing with anything I've said today?
Yes.
I will pull it up. Pull it up. Pull up a physicist that say,
So the chat go
there's
crazy.
tons of experiments that we've done that show
Oh,
the
hold
Earth
up.
is moving. Pull up a physicist that say, no, the CMB, it don't look like the Earth is in the center. It looks like the Earth is moving. Pull up a physicist that will stand on that ledge. I pulled up physicists, quotes from physicists. I pulled up experiments that back up what I said, and I pulled up papers. I pulled up papers from Cornell University. He disagrees with Cornell. Is this what they do over there in Australia? You guys don't respect.
This is typical of flat earthers. They pick papers or experiments that they don't understand, that don't support what they're saying, either through honesty or, in his case, I believe, just falling for people's dishonesty or misunderstanding. They present it as if it's, of course, their position when it doesn't. And let's see what happens when an actual scientist. Now, keep in mind, he's saying that scientists say this, but he's talking to a scientist. Tony's a PhD. He's a scientist. So it's kind of like if I were to uh, uh, go to, I don't know, a gardener and tell the gardener, all gardeners think that you should plant your plants not that way, but a different way. And I'm talking to a gardener who gardens for a living. And perhaps there's some that may plant their plants or whatever way. But to go to a gardener and say all gardeners don't do it like you do it, but they're a gardener, um, it doesn't follow. So if an actual physicist is telling you, look, you're misunderstanding what the physicists or those quotes, you're misrepresenting them. You're not using them the way they say. I'm a physicist. I'm letting you know this. He still instead refers to other physicists. You see the backwardness of it? Apparently he accepts the words of physicists, of scientists, because he's quoting them and saying, look what the scientists say. The PhD Tony is a scientist, saying you're getting it wrong, but now he's not listening to the scientists. So it's like, and I think that's why they do this. I think that's why they don't actually go talk, have honest conversations with real scientists and NASA. Like, I understand that they have these dishonest things, and I know Rich did this dishonest, you know, acting like he's questioning NASA. I think he called it Art of NASA or something. It's just lies and dishonesty. The reason why they don't have an honest question because they don't really want to know. They don't really they don't really respect what the scientists say. They just want to pretend like they do, but they want to misuse what the scientists say to deceive themselves and or others.
You guys don't respect universities and accredited papers? And that's what I look at. Based upon the accredited papers, hey,
we're gonna give.
They agree with me.
Let's give Tony now a chance to respond to what you're saying there. He's getting some searches up here. So I'll just remind our audience again that we are going to take questions at the end. So if anything that you're hearing right now is sparking a thought in your mind and you're saying, oh my, I'd really like to get the speaker's thoughts on that, or I'd like to grill this person on XYZ, put it in a super chat and they'll be asked with priority. So Tony, I'm going to cede the floor over to you to talk about what you have in front of us right now.
Okay, so here's a physics quote saying, as I said, that the laws of physics remain invariant under a Galilean transform, which is to say under a transform with uniform velocity. Now, if the...
Let me pause and read this because I want to update myself as well. So this is from LibreText Physics. The page is inertial frames of reference. A reference is one in which Newton's laws of motion are valid. It is a non-accelerated frame of reference. An inertial frame must be homogeneous and isotropic. Physical experiments can be carried out in different inertial reference frames. The Galilean transformation provides a means of converting between two inertial frames of reference, moving at a constant relative velocity. Consider two frames, 0 and 0 prime, with 0 prime moving with constant velocity relative to v at time t. Figure 2.3.1 shows a Galilean transformation which can be expressed in vector form. And that is r prime equals r minus vt, t prime equals t. Equation 2.3.1 gives the boost, assuming Newton's hypothesis that the time is invariant to change of inertial frames of reference. Differentiation of this transformation gives, so even though I can't say I remember every detail, but I did do Galilean transformations in my modern thermodynamics and statistical mechanics, modern physics and I forget the name of the class. We had to do quantum, relativity, and thermodynamics. So it was like sort of a survey class. So it was it wasn't like in depth, but we had to like do some Galilean transformations, do some calculations of proper time and things like that, and get a general understanding of the process. So this is what Tony is trying to relate. If you remember, if you watch the debate that I did partly with Tony against Toby and Allen, I mentioned that.
Acceleration is small, then this approximation, 2.3.1, remains valid. That's what it means for acceleration to be small, because the velocity does not change very quickly. So this is, and you can read any physics textbook.
Can that be demonstrated?
No, I'm still talking. I'm still talking, right?
Are you not aware that you do this in every debate you have?
My lips are moving and words are coming out.
You know you do this to everybody else, right?
All right. We're gonna.
But keep in mind, by the way, Ross is the same person who was referencing physicists, and this is a physicist directly. Why won't he take the words of Tony and quote that? He quoted other PhDs. Why now suddenly is the word of a PhD not valid? Especially when this physicist pointed out that the quotes he's pointing to don't give service to what he's saying. And he directly evidenced that with that quote where, who was it, Strauss was saying that the Earth revolves around the sun. Ross didn't want to read the whole sentence, but Tony demonstrated that the quotes he pulled out, that Strauss or Ross quote, did not service what he was saying. So it seems that if he really was honest with himself about wanting to learn from scientists, he would actually listen to what Tony is saying, but we see that's not what's happening.
All right, once again, Ross, if you would like, you can ask me for some time to respond. Even if you're like, hey, can I inject here? That's totally cool. We can, like I say, we can disrupt the flow. But if you just cut in, it does make it difficult and throws people off. So just we're going to let Tony wrap up. This is throwing him off more. So go ahead, Tony.
Okay, so small accelerations do not disrupt this. They do introduce artificial forces, but the magnitudes of those artificial forces are dependent on the magnitude of the acceleration. So if I can demonstrate that the acceleration is small, I can treat this as a Galilean system. And every physics textbook in existence will explain to you that this is the case. And if you don't accept that this is physics, then you don't know what you're talking about, and you're lying when you say you do.
All right. It is. I'm fast to take you off the mute there, Ross. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, the reason why I cut in sometimes when he starts talking at length, because he's very slick. When he understands that I have an easy rebuttal to something that he says, he'll say it and then move on to another.
All right. It is.
Listen to this closely.
I'm fast to take you off the mute there, Ross. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. Go ahead.
Yeah. See, the reason why I cut in sometimes when he starts talking at length, because he's very slick. When he understands that I have an easy rebuttal to something that he says, he'll say it and then move on to another point to try to distract the audience from the fact that what he said was incorrect. All right. So, like, it's not
Interesting. Now, if you notice, Ross just accused him of doing what I've already commented that he's doing. And he made that statement about the incorrect taking of the quote. Tony pointed it out, and then Ross wanted to move to something else. We talked about that in one of the previous part 2 or part 1. And here Ross is accusing him of the same thing. So this seems very consistent with the flat earthers or the globe deniers. They accuse the globe side of doing what they do in their deceptions and manipulations. On some level, they must know that's what they're doing. When they read only part of a sentence in the quote they say supports them, to try to make it seem like it supports them. When they change the subject quickly to something else when that's pointed out, or start asking questions when that's pointed out, some level of their mind must know they're being dishonest and deceptive, because he just accused Tony of that. So I guess I have to take that back a little bit when I say it seems like he's being sincere, because if he accuses Tony of being dishonest when Tony was just explaining him, but what he described is what he did, I mean, it seems like he knows he's being dishonest. Let me know in the comments, somebody.
just that those 2 or 3 physicists that I already read. Every physicist in the world, I don't know. Look, here's a quote from Julian B. Barber, a physicist. Thus, even now, 3.5 centuries after Galileo, it is still remarkably difficult to say categorically whether the Earth moves. All right. So you're acting like I'm saying this stuff. None of the words I've said today have come out of my own mouth. You're disagreeing with physicists. You're the science denier, not me. You're the religious person, not me. I'm on the side of science. All right. I'm on the side of science. Here's another one. We can feel.
Actually, I'd like to interject there.
We can. All right, but wait, I'm done. We can't feel our motion through space, nor has any physical experiment ever proved that the Earth is actually in motion. I can go through hundreds of quotes from different physicists, mathematicians, astronomers, all agreeing with me. So you brought up something that said that, well, what you brought up was not a physicist disagreeing with me. You were trying to make your point again about not feeling the velocity. And so that's why I shifted to.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is.
Can you demonstrate this in the lab? Because I want you to show me where in a lab somebody can go 1,000 miles per hour and then the velocity changes a hair and it's not feelable. You can't just say that. Remember your quote at the beginning? You can't just say I can do.
The old flat earther show it in the lab deception manipulation tactic.
This and then you win competitions. That was you saying that. Did you forget already? No. You said you can't just say you can do stuff. You have to actually do stuff. So is there an experiment that proves what you're saying right now? You can go 1,000 miles per hour in a circle and not feel it, and then also add 5 different motions? Because you're saying that you won't feel it if you have one motion. How many motions does the Earth have? The Earth has like 5 different motions. Go ahead. The Earth has 5 different motions. Explain all 5, because you can't even explain one.
He's just gish galloping.
Which part did I say that was
unacceptable?
Don't talk about what I said. Tell me what I said was it. Teach me, PhD Tony. Treat me like a student in your class. What did I say was incorrect? Help me gain knowledge.
If you remember, by the way, he already did that. Tony already explained and taught him. He rejected it. So it seems that this to learn from Tony is a lie. Perhaps he really believes it, but Tony had just not explained to him and showed him out the textbook, the online textbook, and said that every textbook says the same thing, and he rejected it. But then he comes back again and say, "Teach me." So maybe Tony should address that. I hope he does.
Okay. I'll treat you like a student in my class. Shut up and stop interrupting.
Is this
You
why? Is this why?
juvenile.
Is this why you guys talk like that in Australia? All the teachers just tell you guys shut up. In
Well,
Britain? Is
when
this what you guys do in
we're
Britain?
lecturing in front of a class,
Shut up,
we
Tony.
don't-
All right. Just 1 second, Ross. Before we get into meta.
I got triggered. My bad. That's my fault. I got triggered. He said, "Shut up." I said, "Teach me."
No,
and he said,
no.
"Shut up."
You're gonna go back on mute, and we're gonna let Tony bring up the next point. I'm so sorry, Ross, but if you keep trying to engage in this way, it's just not gonna work out for a productive conversation. So we do really want to unpack. We don't want to just jab at each other. So go ahead, Tony. You were trying to move into some new territory or response. So go
well,
ahead.
I was trying to address the misrepresentation of those quotes. When he says that it's difficult to demonstrate that that the Earth is in motion, there is a possibility that the laws of physics as we understand them are completely wrong, and that there are many other forces at work that are moving stuff at faster than the speed of light around us. It's difficult to argue against that position, but it is equally that the law that the Earth. When he says that it's difficult to demonstrate that that the Earth is in motion, there is a possibility that the laws of physics as we understand them are completely wrong, and that there are many other forces at work that are moving stuff at faster than the speed of light around us. It's difficult to argue against that position, but it is equally not the case that they are saying we have proven the Earth is stationary. That is not a correct interpretation of what they're saying. They're not saying the Earth is stationary. They're saying that it is, we have constructed a model for the motions of objects inside the solar system and throughout the portion of the universe that we can observe that makes sense, in which we are moving around the sun. And I will step further into this. The claim that we are at the center of the universe is transparently false, because the distribution of stars around us is not what it would be if we were in the center of the universe. We're not even in the center of the galaxy, right? So how can we be in the center of the universe? To be in the center of the universe, the mass of the universe would have to be distributed uniformly around us, and it isn't. So this entire.
It's a very interesting point. That I never even thought of as a astronomy student, but of course, Tony is a PhD. The flat Earth notion that this misunderstanding or lie about CMB or universal expansion. I've heard different modes of it, where they say, the Earth is the center of the universe according to all observation, but we're not even the center of the galaxy. That is a monumental point. We rotate around the center of the galaxy. So how can we possibly be the center of the universe? It makes no sense. And we understand ourselves to be towards the outskirts of the galaxy at that. So we're not even in the center of the galaxy, like literally. I mean, we're not, of course, literally in the center, but we're not even towards the central part, like towards the bulge. So it's such a simple point that anybody who's bringing up CMB, for instance, has to respect our understanding of where we are in the galaxy if they accept our understanding of this, where we are in this field of CMB. So yeah, it totally disrupts the point.
line of reasoning is fatuous. He's cherry picking these quotes, and these are actually not quotes from scientific papers. And I want to make that point very clear. These are not peer-reviewed comments. These are private comments in popular science media that he has taken out of context in order to make the claim that the Earth is stationary. The available evidence to us suggests that that is inconsistent with the laws of physics as we understand them. And his claim that physicists agree with him is not true. And if it were, then all of these physicists that he's citing would be flat Earth debaters, and they would be here instead of him.
Fantastic. For all the people in the comments saying I'm not listening.
I like that response. I want to hear that response one more time. And I'll probably close up a bit early tonight.
But it is complete.
Jab at each other. So go ahead, Tony. You had you were trying to move into some new territory or response. So go ahead.
I was trying to address the misrepresentation of those quotes. When he says that it's difficult to demonstrate that it's that the Earth is in motion, there is a possibility that the laws of physics as we understand them are completely wrong, and that there are many other forces at work that are moving stuff at faster than the speed of light around us. It's difficult to argue against that position, but it is equally not the case that they are saying we have proven the Earth is stationary. That is not a correct interpretation of what they're saying. They're not saying the Earth is stationary. They're saying that it is, we have constructed a model for the motions of objects inside the solar system and throughout the portion of the universe that we can observe that makes sense, in which we are moving around the sun. And I will step further into this. The claim that we are at the center of the universe is transparently false, because the distribution of stars around us is not what it would be if we were in the center of the universe. We're not even in the center of the galaxy, right? So how can we be in the center of the universe? To be in the center of the universe, the mass of the universe would have to be distributed uniformly around us, and it isn't. So this entire line of reasoning is fatuous. He's cherry picking these quotes, and these are actually not quotes from scientific papers. And I want to make that point very clear. These are not peer-reviewed comments. These are private comments in popular science media that he has taken out of context in order to make the claim that the Earth is stationary. The available evidence to us suggests that that is inconsistent with the laws of physics as we understand them. And his claim that physicists agree with him is not true. And if it were, then all of these physicists that he's citing would be flat Earth debaters, and they would be here instead of him.
Reason why I like Tony, because I'll learn physics from him, and just understanding of science, and amazing the way he presents his stuff. And of course, it's coming from a higher level scientific perspective, being a PhD himself. So I love Tony. He's awesome. So I'm sure one day we'll debate together again. We almost debated together again on I guess it was about a month ago now, I guess. But that one didn't go through. So I'll be looking forward to it again when we have a chance to get some duo that wants to go against us. But awesome. I'm sure I'll be back to get some more of Tony. I'll go ahead and call it for now. And those who show up later to watch, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Share. I see Earth is Life had commented earlier that I should debate Ross. I'll be down for it. Just let MDD know. They offer it to me. If they set it up, I'll accept. And that could be something that I can do in the future. So just contact MDD, let them know. I'll be down for it. Anybody else y'all want me to debate as well? If a flat earther wants to come and talk with me, let me know. If you have any evidence to present, I'll be happy to see it. Now that's because flat earth evidence, yeah. But awesome, guys. So I'm sure I'll finish watching this debate another time. See y'all next time.